Welcome to Out of Continues, episode 193. We're a weekly podcast posted up every Monday on outofcontinues.com as an MP3, or we go up a little bit before that on youtube.com/outofcontinues as a video, and we talk about video games and related topics. If you're new to the show, I am your host, Stafa, and I have different guest hosts on the show with me each week, and this week we got Demetrius.
Hey everybody, I'm Demetrius. Obviously. Don't laugh.
Yeah, so only two of us this week. Usually I like to have two guests, three people total. But can only do so much. So anyways, this week's episode segments will include our main topic, which will be about games in movies and TV and all that. Not to be confused with video game adaptions of movies, but we'll get more into that later. We've got a couple of announcements, and then we got news topics. So before we get into our main topic, I want to put a little disclaimer that all opinions expressed on the show are of our own and not of our employers, whether past, present, or future. You're not so sure about that?
Not so sure about that.
You're not so sure?
Yeah, I think I represent. I'm just playing.
Get the mic a little closer.
I'm just kidding.
Oh, okay.
Kind of. About certain employers. There are those. I'm just kidding.
Okay. So anyways, let's get into our main topic. And this main topic is mainly because a little movie came out recently called Pixels, starring Adam Sandler. It's a Happy Madison production.
Problem number one. I'm sorry, I might be biased.
And when this movie first got announced, I talked about it, talked about the trailer on the show, and a lot of people wrote this off right off the bat. Like when they saw the trailer, they're like, "This is the worst thing ever." And I was like, you know what? I think this has potential. This might be good. Now, granted, I still haven't watched the movie, and I probably won't at this point because of all of the negative reviews. And I mean it. I haven't seen a single positive review of this movie so far. Yeah. Everyone has been saying very negative things, and I watched I used to watch Spill.com. Now they're Double Toasted. Mm-hmm. You watch them as well, right?
Regularly.
Yeah, and they're funny guys, and I like their opinions. They usually break things down pretty well. And I watched their review on Pixels, and this is granted. There's three guys on there giving their separate reviews. Well, there's four of them there, but three of them watched it, so each gave their review. And man, I'm like, I don't want to watch this. It sounds very disappointing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not one of those people who hate Adam Sandler. I actually have watched, plenty of Adam Sandler movies that I really liked. There are a lot more Adam Sandler movies that I enjoyed than there are those that I have not enjoyed. You laughing at my opinion?
No, I think I agree with that. I'm laughing at myself because honestly,
make it face that way.
This way?
Yeah. Well, no. Keep going.
Okay.
Keep going.
So honestly, now that you say that, I'm laughing because it's simple fact that I think there definitely are more Adam Sandler movies that I like than what I don't like.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's the older stuff of his that I like. That's the thing. I like his older stuff. Anything nowadays, I don't know if I think I now pronounce you Chuck and Larry. I thought that was okay. I know a lot of people didn't like it, but whatever. Anytime I see him, I get kind of cautious because
I especially hear people say, "Oh, you put Adam Sandler and Kevin James together, it is a recipe for disaster." And I like Kevin James too. I mean, I watched Here Comes the Boom.
That was my movie. Loved it.
I loved it too.
Yeah.
It's like that was like a movie for MMA fans.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a feel-good movie. I mean, that's what it was. It may not have been it may not have been a 4-star movie or a 5-star movie or anything like that, but it was just a feel good, mindless movie. You know what I mean? It wasn't bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, every time I see someone Adam Sandler, especially of the newer things in the last, I don't know, maybe 5 or 8 years or so or something like that, you know, I get kind of worried because like I really don't like his new stuff. When he was younger, you know, like the stupid stuff, I thought that was funny.
Shampoo is better. No conditioner is better.
Stop it. That is annoying. See, like that right there. That's exactly what I'm referring to. Like, so his stuff like Happy Gilmore and all this and that, like that was funny. But even then, those were like goofy movies. You know what I mean? And so I don't know how I feel if I tried to watch them now. When I was younger, I thought it was funny. Now I probably still say this was stupid.
Yeah.
But yeah, I get scared anytime I see him. The last thing I liked with him in it was that romantic vacation movie or something like that with Jennifer Anderson. Grown Ups 1 was okay. 2 was just a lot of like, I felt like shock value type comedy, but like that was okay. And I now pronounce you Chuck and Larry. That's like 3 movies I can think of, and that's it.
I can't remember the last Adam Sandler movie I watched. Maybe the Zohan. I don't know if I watched anything after that one by him. I can't remember. But I mean, like, this is not the first Happy Madison production that was video game centric. I mean, you have, you know, this movie Pixels, and then you also had Grandma's Boy, which came out. It was Happy Madison. It didn't have Adam Sandler in it, though, but it was a Happy Madison production.
No idea. That's probably why I didn't like it.
Oh, you didn't like it?
Did not like it. Like, I'm the only, everybody I know loved that movie. I have no idea why.
I
could not stand it.
Thought it was entertaining, though. Granted, I mean, it is a complete misrepresentation of game development. Like, they got nothing right as far as how games are developed. I mean, like, this one guy who is a quality assurance, you know, game tester, on his free time makes, you know, this whole demon game by himself, like the 3D modeling, the sounds, the gameplay, the program. He does everything on his own, on his free time, with a gamepad.
He's a savant, man. Hey, not everybody can be Michael Jordan, man. Don't hate. Everybody can be Michael Jordan. So
it's it's complete misrepresentation on how game development works. But I thought it was an entertaining movie. I liked it. But as far as Pixels goes, the issues that I've heard about it, like what Double Tosa has mentioned that they didn't like about it, is that, first of all, they got a lot of things wrong as far as the video games go, like as far as the rules of the games, or how, like, the references, like they reference, oh, it's Donkey Kong, but they like get a bunch of things wrong or whatever. And like they said, they get the impression that Adam Sandler doesn't really love the 80s. He loves loving the 80s. Like, he played these games like 2 or 3 times and doesn't really know the ins and outs of those games.
Yeah, so I haven't seen the reviews on it, admittedly. I wanted to go to Double Tussle, didn't do so. But honestly, so I can't really give an honest opinion of it. Only thing I can say is I felt like the movie had, I don't know, it had promise. I think it showed promise. You know what I mean? When I seen the trailer, but it was an Adam Sandler movie. So I was just kind of like, even the movies I named off, I have a lot of issues with, you know what I mean? Like, it was just like, I don't really, it's okay. I can handle this. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's, I don't know. I'm not too big on I'm not the fanboy who nitpicks at everything. I'm not the guy who's going to nitpick on like Transformers. Like, oh, Michael Bay didn't even know this and this. I'm not going to do that. You know, that wasn't bothering me. It's just how bad the movie is.
I was bad at nitpicking when I watched the first Transformers. I was like, they got the name of the tank wrong. They named him Brawl when his name is this, or like, whatever.
You came a long way since we were younger, man. You come a long way. You couldn't have a conversation with you about anything. It was like, I can't watch it because Wolverine is supposed to be short and ugly and beefy. I quote.
Supposed to have yellow.
Like, oh no.
But-
I used to just have conversations with you, honestly, just to because it was entertaining, just to get on your skin.
But I mean, another thing that they mentioned, that I've heard about this movie is that because they get all these references wrong as far as how those games are and
Mhm.
everything, and the family-friendly approach to this movie, it's like, who is the audience of this movie? Because it's not for kids because they don't get these games. Like the kids today did not play these games.
Agreed.
You know, like they don't know, like they didn't play Pac-Man or Q-Bert. They don't even
Donkey
know what a
Kong.
Q-Bert is.
Right.
But as far as like, people that are our age and older who have played those games, it's like they're gonna notice all these mistakes. And so who is this movie for?
Right. I completely and totally agree. So I could see where their problem would arise with getting some of the game references wrong and things like that, since it's based on the whole sole purpose of the movie or those games.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not trying to, I don't know, double back and renege my statement, but I just thought about it. It's like, well, this is the meaning of the movie, so I guess I can see where people are coming from with their issues on that. Like I said, I haven't seen it yet, so. But yeah, I don't know who the reference would, not the reference, but who the audience would be
Mhm.
whatsoever. Now, I have some high profile friends that, that set in on some of these discussions or are part of these discussions, and they're telling me that essentially, like, it's literally like somebody shoots out an idea. Okay, hey, let's work with this. Somebody might record something like randomly, and it's basically about who you know and how much money you have to throw around. You know what I mean? How much power do you hold? And that's it. And then you have a movie, like literally. So yeah, I don't know. I think that's what happened. It's like, it's Adam Sandler. He has a small group of people that like him,
Mhm.
and I think that's what happened. You know what I mean? It's like, we can get something out of this movie because it's Adam Sandler.
Yeah. Like, I don't understand why like Hollywood would implement video games into, either TV or movies. And it's like, and they're trying to appeal to that group, but then they get so many things wrong. Like, I remember when I was watching what was the movie? 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Love the
And
movie.
there was a scene with Seth Rogen and Paul Rudd. They're playing, I think, Mortal Kombat Deception. One of them has an N64 controller, and the other one's using like one of these controller chairs,
Yeah.
like the chair that
Yeah.
has like the gamepad on the sides.
Mhm.
And first of all, that game is on Xbox and PS2. One's using an
Yeah, I
N64
remember
controller.
that.
Secondly, they're holding the N64 controller wrong. And the other one who's using the chair, he's playing on one side of the chair, not both sides of the the gamepad. And like, I'm sitting there thinking, is this supposed to appeal to me, or is this supposed to be like an inside joke trying to like say, hey, look, we're playing this completely wrong? And on top of that, they both did fatalities after each round, which, the rules of the game, only the person who wins the whole match, all the rounds,
Yeah.
gets to do the fatality. So I'm thinking, I'm sitting there like, they're getting so much stuff wrong.
So I think so, something like that. I
Like-
would have never noticed.
Like, who is that supposed to appeal to? Is that supposed to appeal to me who does like video games, or is that just supposed to be like, hey, look at these guys, they're playing video games, they're nerds? I don't know.
Yeah, I remember the controller scene. Like, hey, he's holding
Yeah.
the controller wrong and everything. Like, I remember that, and I was like, wait a minute. I do recall that, and I think that either it's because they were broke or they did it on purpose. I really
Yeah.
think that, like, Seth Rogen is a goofy dude,
Mm-hmm.
and so I just felt like either it's just like I said, because it was a low budget movie, or just because they were doing it on purpose and it was goofy. Because everybody that's ever played a video game
Yeah.
knows you can't on the side of a chair. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like going back to the whole nitpicky thing. Like,
Yeah,
I would
yeah.
never notice the whole thing about you can't. What he's doing in every. Oh man, like that's not gonna be make it or break it for the movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. That's just me though. I'm not trying to jump on you or nothing, but that's me. I can care less about that. It's a movie. It cannot watch it again.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Is it tolerable?
Yeah.
When it sounds like this Pixar movie, I couldn't.
Hmm.
Grandma's Boy, I could not. There, that movie, I was just like this. I will never get this time back from my life.
Hmm.
Like I really felt like that was a horrible movie.
I think movies that have done it well are Wreck-It Ralph and
Definitely.
Scott
Definitely.
Pilgrim versus the World.
Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
It's the Michael Cera movie where he has to fight the girl's 8 ex-boyfriend or 8 exes.
Oh yes, I love that movie. Yes, that was a good one. I forgot about that. That was a good movie.
Like
Definitely.
I think they, before watching it, I was like, they're just gonna make a bunch of video game references to try to appeal to me, and it's not gonna work. And then a bunch of people were like, no, watch this movie. This is really good.
Right.
So I watched it. I was like, yeah, this is pretty good. The references were tasteful. They worked.
Right.
And with Wreck-It Ralph, they used a lot of video game references, from the 80s on up to current stuff.
Yeah.
And they made up their own stuff, like the original characters. They all have their own games, like the what was it, the Candy Rush or whatever it's called. Sugar Rush, yeah, Sugar Rush and Wreck-It Ralph, and the game that the Space Marine girl.
Not Tetris, Metroid. What are you talking about?
It was like Halo, kind of.
Metroid? Isn't that Metroid?
No, well, maybe it was. They're copying off Metroid as well, but the blonde girl.
Oh, I have no idea.
Space Marine, like it was basically supposed to be Halo.
Is that what it was? Yeah,
I suppose.
Like no, so there were a lot of video game references in Wreck-It Ralph. Like liked it. I mean, like how they brought up like a lot of the old characters. There were so many in there you can't really name all. They literally had a scene where they're all going to their destinations, like in their tubes, or whatever.
Yeah,
their former transportation, and like you could see
which were basically the electrical outlets.
Yeah, and it was just like, man, look at all these characters. Like I know who these. Like I know who that is. Yep. You know what I mean? I was very impressed. As far as that, the movie where the guy had to fight the ex-boyfriends, whatever.
Scott
Pilgrim. I don't remember everything about the movie. I remember I absolutely loved it, and I remember it worked.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't remember the detail. I don't remember enough to go into detail about it.
One thing I liked about Wreck-It Ralph is that rather than changing up the rules of the existing games, they made their new rules. Like, for example, you have to, if you enter a different game, you cannot die in it, otherwise you're stuck in that game or something like that, or you're dead forever. Yeah, that was, or you also need to leave that game before it turns off, otherwise you've gone turbo or whatever. So they made their own rules and they stuck with those rules. And from what I'm hearing about Pixels, it's like people watching it didn't know when the rules of the games applied or when they didn't. And I heard that at one point they decided to implement cheat codes into the movie, even though cheat codes weren't really a thing for arcade games, and that's what they were playing. They were going against arcade games, not console games. So there was a lot of confusion as far as what was going on.
Yeah, there was no real reference.
Yes.
Like there wasn't anything you can go to, and no real index you can go to.
Yeah.
I understand. So again, like I know a lot of things that will happen. They probably couldn't find a good enough script or ran out of time and said screw it, and like what do you cash in?
Yeah.
It could have been that. I really think that's what it would. I really think that's what it was. Hey, this is Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
He's going to bring in a lot of these SNL guys because when it was some wasn't David Spade in that?
In Pixels?
Yeah, wasn't he? Or am I
so.
confusing him with the Waterboy guy? There's one of the guys in there. He's always in the movies with.
Well, I know this one there's Kevin James with him.
Okay, there's somebody else, but regardless of that,
they also have Peter Dinklage in this movie, and some other guy. that I'm not too familiar with. He's a younger guy than
Okay.
them.
I thought I thought it was some short guy in there that was known that he's normally with in movies. But if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But
You think of Rob Snyder?
yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. Him or David Spade. I thought one of those two guys.
No, I don't know. Maybe they make a cameo.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I may be off. Like I said, I haven't seen the movie.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong. Like I haven't seen the movie, so I can't talk about that. But I'm telling you, like, if it's a bad movie, I really think that it's because it's a freaking cash in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I said, it's got to be because it's going to be Adam Sandler, and he's going to bring in these other actors and actresses, and people are going to watch to see them. That's all it is. And he has this little small following of people who like him for whatever reason I can't figure out. But yeah, like that impression you did was spot on, and that is horrible. That is horrible. It's cheesy. What was the thing where he played his sister?
I think it was like Joe and Jane or something like
Ridiculous.
that.
Like, who watched that?
I don't know.
That is insane.
It looked bad.
Like most of his movies. Like he's had a few hits. You know, he makes a few good movies. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying they're all horrible, not by any means. But I don't know. I think he's highly overrated.
One series that I watched as when I was a lot younger, and I thought they did pretty well implementing video game logic into it was Reboot.
I loved Reboot. Didn't they make they're supposed to be coming out like a movie or something?
They are rebooting Reboot.
Okay.
It's supposed to come out like next year, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Reboot was pretty cool. I mean, they had a lot of not game pop culture references, but game references as far as like
actual games. Period. Go.
Like lives and how a game works and stuff like that. Game over. Those type of things. Not like oh, it's Qbert.
Yeah. Yeah, it was its own standalone thing. Everybody understood like they're talking about this glitch, or they're talking about the whatever they call it, the person playing the game. Like, why would this person do
the user?
That? Yeah, the user.
Yeah, and then they had the incoming game, and
yeah, exactly.
I do remember they did have like some pop culture references in that show, though. Like one of the games they're playing, there was the user was Ash from Evil Dead. Like he even says groovy, and he had the shotgun and everything.
I vaguely remember that. So, it was a good show.
Yeah,
like
I like.
Yeah, I don't remember anyone saying that they didn't like it. To the point, when I was older, I wouldn't have found it like online or something. Rewatched all of them. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like I like that show a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I think that is an appropriate way to do such a thing by, making up your own universe and making your own rules and following those rules. I think that's an important thing about these movies that apply video game references into them. And that's an issue that people had with Pixels, that they didn't have rules and they didn't follow the rules or whatever lack of rules that they had.
No, I remember again, actually, what's his name? Scott Scott Pilgrim. Now, I remember that it didn't really have, as a movie, it's harder to do. You know what I mean? I'm not saying it's an easy deal.
Mm-hmm.
As a movie, I know it's got to be harder. You have Reboot, it's a series.
Yeah.
You had Scott Pilgrim, which I felt like you said, if it had a certain set of rules that it followed, it made it simple.
Mm-hmm.
They did it within a short period of time. It just made sense.
It's also based on a comic book, too.
Is it really?
Yes.
Okay.
Scott Pilgrim versus the World. It's a short comic series.
Nice. But yeah, like I get what you're saying though. I get what you're saying because I completely and totally agree. Like that worked.
Mm-hmm. Do we have anything else we want to say about this topic before we wrap it up?
So whenever you see Adam Sandler's face, just take a moment to pause and really think you want to spend your money on that movie. That's what I'm gonna say. Like, come on, man. Come on. It just can't be. Is that really funny to you? Shampoo?
No. Well, I used to like Adam Sandler at one point, and I wish that they just put a little bit more effort into this. Like hire at least some writers that would like do the research and then make better references and better jokes
Right.
and stuff that apply to these games rather than
Right.
hey, there's Donkey Kong, hey, there's Cubert, hey, like from what I'm hearing, that's pretty much what the movie is. Like they're like, hey, it's Centipede, like,
Right.
and it doesn't make sense as to why these four people who are video game champions from the 80s, like they were in the tournament, and like these four people were the top players of the tournament,
Mhm.
and that's why they are the four people who can save the world. Like it doesn't make any sense because
Right.
like they're like, okay, take this gun and start shooting the centipedes. How come the military guys can't do that?
Right.
Like it doesn't make any sense.
Right.
So it's if they applied more focus on making it make sense,
Right.
and making better references towards
Right.
video games, I don't know, maybe this could have been something. I was giving it the benefit of the doubt at first, when they first announced the trailer, and I was like, maybe it might be something. No, it doesn't look like it's something. I mean, it's to the point where I have lost complete interest in even watching it, and it
Wow.
sounds like a waste of time.
Wow, that bad.
Yeah, I mean, like there are some people who are when they hear something so bad, they're like, oh, I'm gonna watch it for myself just to see how bad it is.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be that guy.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be that guy and like try to experience for myself how bad it is. Like, what's
Right.
the point?
The more so over, why would you're funding their habits?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Of making a bad movie. It's just
Yeah.
like buying a bad video game. Stop buying these bad Dragon Ball Z games. Stop making. You remember that was an issue back in the day, you know? Before they found their niche with the versus thing. So yeah, I agree completely. Like, I mean, I go into any movie expecting exactly what it would be. When I go see a Wolverine movie, if I go see an X-Men movie, I go in there expecting it to be just that. I don't go into it expect it to be anything more.
Mm-hmm.
But then you tell me things like this, like about Pixel. Like, now I'm really gonna go watch that Devil Toaster video because that's just ridiculous. Like, that's just bad writing. That's just a bad movie. And what you're doing is like I said, you're just doing this because people are going to see this movie. The movie is bad when you're doing it. Like, there's been things where actors have like all right, I refuse to do anything dealing with the press involved in this movie because this movie's horrible.
Yeah. Well, one funny thing about that Devil Toaster review is like they're trying to find redeeming qualities of the movie, and they're like, hey, Peter Dinklage was the only one, or he was the best performance in the movie, and then they played a clip of Peter Dinklage, and then they're like, oh wait, out of context of the movie, that's actually pretty bad. They're like, when watching the rest of the movie, it's like, whoa, this is gold compared to everything else.
Wow.
But then when you watch that clip outside of watching the rest of the movie,
right,
they're like, oh, never mind, we take it back. That was actually pretty bad.
Right. Yeah, dude. No, I was watching CinemaSins. I was watching the thing over Mario Brothers, and I was watching the acting.
Yeah.
And I was just like, holy crap! When I was a kid, I liked these movies.
Mario Brothers is amazing.
When I was a kid, bro, the acting in that was horrible. The chick, not Luigi and John Leguizamo and the guy that passed away, not Mr. Smee from Hook, not him who was Mario, but the chick, the love interest, horrible actress, dude. I'm not saying I could do better, but like I was just like,
Mario Bros.
I love this movie.
The movie is a work of art.
Oh, it's a work of art, definitely. Oh yeah, it's a work of art. All right. Don't get me wrong. Now that's the time I think I would definitely buy the movie and help that habit further. Yeah.
All right. So, all right. I guess that's it for that topic. So Demetrius, got a question for you.
I don't have an answer.
You don't have an answer?
I might.
All right. Let's paint the scenario.
Okay.
Let's say you wanna make your own movie, like with video game references in it. All right.
Okay.
and you want to, you know, have an area online to promote this movie, like a website, what would you do?
I would call you and see what can I do, but like, where can I make this movie?
I'd say what you can do is you can go to DreamHost.
Oh, okay.
And you can sign up and make your website there, you know, to promote this movie, because they offer their web service that offers unlimited storage, unlimited bandwidth, user-friendly interface, and they're also optimized to use content managers like WordPress.
Okay.
Do you know how easy it is to make a website with WordPress?
No, but I'm sure this will show me how.
It is really easy. And I mean, 1 out of 7 websites on the internet use WordPress. So because of so many people using WordPress, if you don't know how to do something, type it into Google. They'll tell you.
Right.
Because everyone uses WordPress. So therefore, you know, if you have an issue, someone else has already had the issue, and then someone else has already answered that question. So
smart move.
Yeah,
okay.
there you go.
I'll take it, especially if it helps me beat out this Pixel movie. From my understanding, it won't be too hard to do.
Yeah, so, you know, check out DreamHost, because you know, they have all that, many more features, just for $8.95 US a month.
I'm in.
But it gets better.
Oh.
Because of the release of Pixels, we decided to help the listeners out by applying this promo code to sweeten up the deal. So if you type in "out of continues," no spaces, just one word, "out of continues," it will waive away the setup fee and get you a free domain registration. So you can get your whatever .com, .net, .gov.
This is how this movie should have been. This is how Pixel should have been made. .com.
Yes, exactly.
A group of college students. Sorry, Adam.
You know, the original Pixels was made by, I think, college students. Pixels, the movie, is based off of a short, like 3-minute long video that's on YouTube called Pixels.
And now it's probably better than the movie, wasn't it?
Yeah. Probably. I mean, it was the same premise of like these pixelated 3D game characters destroying the city. So that led to the Adam Sandler movie Pixels.
That guy can ruin anything. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So anyways, check out DreamHost for all of your website creation needs. I am a customer of DreamHost, and I have been very happy using them. So I'm not only talking about them, I am also a DreamHost user. So anyways, we got a couple of quick announcements. First announcement is that we can use some iTunes reviews. You know, it helps put us onto Apple's podcast charts. So if you haven't left an iTunes review, we'd really appreciate that you leave one. It's one of the single most helpful things you can do for the show. And if you cannot leave a review for whatever reason, like you don't have access to iTunes or whatever, another really helpful thing you could do for the show is share the podcast on social media. So Facebook, Twitter, whatever. You know, click like, click share, retweet, favorite. It would really help out the show. It's a very simple thing you could do. It's you know, just helps spread the word of the show and helps increase our you know, our listener base, which that gives us more incentive to continue doing the podcast. So, you know, we'd really appreciate that. The other announcement I have is next week, episode 194 will be a backup podcast that I recorded October of last year. There will not be a new podcast, you know, a new podcast recording. I mean, this is not going to be something that I've already published. It's not like a rerun or anything.
Mm-hmm.
So you will get a new podcast. It's a pretty short one, but there's going to be no no listener feedback, no news. It's just a recording I made last year. I'm going to be busy relocating, so this is going to be the last time you're going to see on the YouTube. This is going to be the last time that you're going to see this room. From here on out, it's going to be relocated, trying to find a job. So moving out to the West Coast where there are plenty of game development jobs. So, hopefully that goes well. And, just letting you guys know, next week, 194 will be a backup podcast. And after that, we should be back on track with new podcasts. So just want to let you guys know. And yeah, that's it. Let's get on to game news. So let me screen share real quick the game news. And we'll do that in a second. Shenmue 3. There we go. So, Demetrius, Shenmue 3. It has, the Kickstarter has finished. They ended it at 6.3 million, which is 3 times the goal that they're asking for.
Amazing.
And it says that they should be opening up, if they haven't already, they should be opening up soon like a PayPal donations page so that people can continue sending them their money, similar to what Double Fine did with Broken Age and the Broken Age Kickstarter, and also Robert Space Industries did that with what's that game? The Wing Commander game. I'm having my brain fart. I know the name of the game, I just can't think of it for some reason. They're space exploration game, and they're like, hey, here's a there's a PayPal page that you can continue paying us if you miss the Kickstarter. So they're doing a similar thing. They got the PayPal going on to continue their funding for the game, and it should be coming out. Like the goal is late 2016, like December 2016 or something like that.
Okay.
What's your thoughts, Demetrius? Since you are the Shenmue man in this room right now.
Hey, there's only one other guy.
Get closer.
That's true. There's only one other guy who I know that cares about Shenmue like I do, that I know personally, who's unfortunately not here at the moment. But I mean the way that this game coming out makes me feel, I can't say on this podcast. Euphoric is the word. Yeah, I'll just use the word euphoric.
Sure.
That's
a word.
It's amazing. It is amazing. Well, I did not know it was a word. Thank you for informing me. But no, it was, I don't know. I was the happiest kid on earth, the happiest adult child on earth when I heard about this. I was at work like, oh my God,
shampoo is better.
Why'd you just kill it with that? You know what? I'm not gonna let Adam Sandler ruin this moment. No, he's not gonna ruin this game. Not even he could damage this immaculate work of art. Not even he. But yeah, I'm super excited, man. I've been waiting for this for years. This hopefully I won't have to work for money in this one. But other than that, I'm all in.
You gotta pet some more cats and buy some more.
Oh, you want the first one?
Gumballs from the gumball machine.
I didn't do any of that crap. No. The gumball thing.
Forklifts.
Oh man, yes. I hated that. I don't know why people did that. Like, there's certain things you didn't have to do. Like, I don't think you had to do the cat thing. I don't think you had to do that.
I don't know anything. I didn't play the game. I played like an hour of it, and then I didn't know what I was doing because it became nighttime, and then everyone that I knock on their door told me to go home.
Yeah.
And I was like, what's going on?
Well, so I think there's actually a mission with a cat, I think, but there's certain things that people did. Like, there's a mini game in the second one, for example. You don't have to play it. It's like the stupidest thing in the world. But no, outside of that, like outside of like the pointless mini game stuff were having to work for the money. Like that game was amazing. Like that game was just ahead of its time. As well as that was the precursor to what's the best example of what we have that right now? Like it was essentially the sim, an action-based adventure sim. That's essentially what it was, you know, and it was just ahead of its time. That's all it was. But I think that now it's time. Enough time is going on. I'm glad that he's going to be able to complete his dream, man, and complete mine by developing a game, almost like Burr Bully. But yeah, like it was good, man. I'm
Didn't
excited about
Yu
it, rather.
Suzuki like make an acronym for like this new genre?
He did.
It was like free roam environment experience or something like that.
He did. I don't remember it. Like that's why I didn't say it, because I
Yeah.
really don't remember what it was. But he did. It was essentially the way he explains it. Why Isaiah defines that acronym is essentially an interactive movie. That's literally what he explains it as. But yeah, it was pretty good. It was a good game, man. So hopefully this one is going to be even better.
All right, let's move on.
Really? No.
No? Are you sure? Let's go back. Anything else you want to say?
No. Yes, there is, but we'll be here forever.
Okay.
Game.
So the next article I got on here, talking about the ESL. This is not English as second language. This is the Electronic Sports League. I think that's a really bad acronym, ESL, because you get a lot of people when they hear that they think English is second language, especially me.
Really?
Because that's ESL, English
know
second language. You didn't know that?
Mm-mm.
Anyways, so Electronic Sports League, they announced that they have plans to start testing for performance-enhancing drugs, PEDs. So when I first heard this, I kind of laughed. I was like, what performance-enhancing drugs? Are they going to take steroids to increase the thumb strength or something? But and also I was like, are they going to be testing for marijuana? Because that's not a performance-enhancing. That's the other way around. It's it's supposed to slow down your brain. But
after extended use, kids, it's
yeah.
after only extended use.
But apparently there's I can't remember the name of it, but there's a drug like a prescription drug that's used for people who need help focusing, and when they take this, it really helps them focus. And apparently people who play games while using this play a lot better because their focus is a lot better.
So is it the same thing as like Adderall essentially?
Yeah, that's what it is. Adderall. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I just forgot the name of it, but yeah, apparently Adderall is one of the drugs that they will be testing for. But they said that they're going to be coming up with a list sometime soon, as far as to make up a list of what drugs that they're going to be testing for.
So it's curious to me because a lot of the things that Adderall does is you can there are certain extracts you can get. You can combine them with a number of things that essentially increase the same like brain function, and increases the same brain function. But not only that, it actually increases your cognitive ability.
Like ginkgo?
Well, kind of, but that's more of a ginkgo. I believe what that does is actually just create blood flow to the brain. Or oxygen flow, rather. I think that's basically what that does.
D, have you taken your ginkgo today?
Oh man, don't bring that up. So horrible inside joke. Yeah, like if you combine like I think it's artichoke heart extract with something else, it's instantly like your brain cells. I mean your neurons are just firing faster and everything, and you have to actually take I think choline next to it to replenish because that's how much of it uses. You know what I mean? So yeah, I don't know how they're gonna go about that. That's just probably one more of those maybe pointless things. Well, I say that because I'm not into it. So obviously in front of somebody.
All right, let's move on. So here's an article that a lot of people who are into game discussion online have seen this past week, and it's created a lot of discussion. So this article is by bulimia.com, and they are pretty much like trying to make sure people get help if they have eating disorders and such. For people who forget the difference between bulimia and anorexia. Anorexia is when you don't eat, and bulimia is when you eat but throw it up immediately. Yeah. So I think they changed the name of this article because in the URL it says video games realistic body types, and in the article name it says visualizing women from video games with average American body shapes. I know Polygon, when they reposted this article, they changed the name of their article. First, it was video game characters reimagined as not hypersexualized, and then they changed the name of the article to average body types as well. So anyway, so what they did, bulimia.com, is they got someone who is good with Photoshop, and they took some video game characters and pretty much just added 50 pounds onto each one of them. So, just they got Christy from Tekken. They got Cortana from Halo. They got the bikini girl. Is that what her official name is, from Grand Theft Auto 5? Where's the girl that Lindsay Lohan is like suing about?
Wait, why? What's going on?
She's trying to say that that's her because she has a picture of her in a red bikini. Helena from Dead or Alive 5, Jade from Mortal Kombat, Lara Croft, how do you say that? Nabooru?
I believe actually that's right.
From Zelda, Riku from Final Fantasy X2, Sonya Blade from Mortal Kombat, and I think this is the last one, Tifa from Final Fantasy 7. And as you can see, they basically just put on 50 pounds onto each one of them.
I've seen this article. I couldn't read it because of the article title, because I just knew, I was just like, I can't deal with that.
So like, one thing this article mentions is, like, it starts off talking about how video games have been becoming more and more realistic, and game developers pride themselves for realism in video games, and so on. But they're like, no, this is not realistic for these characters to be portrayed this way, so let's make them more realistic our way. And on top of that, the way how this article ends is, it basically says that, hey, if you have an eating disorder yourself, well, they basically say that these can lead to women having eating disorders, and if you have an eating disorder, call this hotline, you could get help, and da 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 da. And like, my issue with this is that most of these women that are, these characters are supposed to be fit. I mean, like, first of all, video games are not realistic.
Point number one.
Yeah, point number one. Video games are not realistic. Like, people point out unrealistic things in video games all the time. Like, hey, Nathan Drake kills thousands of people in Uncharted. How is that possible? I mean, he's supposed to be an average guy compared to, like, super soldier marines in, Gears of War and Halo and such that are like super soldiers. Nathan Drake is just a regular guy, but is able to kill thousands of people.
Right.
So, that's one. There's tons of unrealism in video games. Two, if you want to talk about realism, it is more realistic for a fit person to do these incredible feats than for someone who is a bit pudgy.
Take me to church, Daddy. Take me to church.
A master capoeira fighter is not going to look like that.
Wow. Bring me home.
I mean, like, if you want to talk about the clothing she's wearing, that's a completely different discussion. But that's not what bulimia.com is talking about. They're talking about the body types, and, like, look at UFC. Mm-hmm. You're not going to find a body type that like this Photoshop version.
Mm-hmm.
Cortana is a computer, so what the heck?
Thank you.
Now Laura Croft, she is an archaeologist, yes, but she's also a rock climber.
Mm-hmm.
I did Google image search.
Scroll up on that, man.
Well,
So I
okay,
can see it.
my bad. I scrolled a little too far. So I did a Google image search and typed rock climber. Now, guess what I found when I typed that in the Google image search?
Somebody that looks like Laura Croft.
A bunch of really fit people.
Yep.
Except for one image, which was a baby climbing rocks. But beside that baby,
That baby is a scary baby.
Besides that, everyone else was very
Lord.
fit.
You know, so this is why I couldn't read the article, because I read, and I kind of seen the synopsis on it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And my issue here is everything you just said.
Mhm.
Everything you just said, and one of the biggest things is, now don't go picking on things that where people have to be fit, because being fit is the way to be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like this is the thing, not going into, not trying to change it in a whole nother subject. It's just that so much of what's wrong with the U.S. nation in terms of health
Mhm.
can be correlated to how much shape you're in or not in. You know what I mean? And that's the thing. Like, so don't go picking on them because they put the fork down.
Yeah.
And they went to, like, we both were at the gym earlier today.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's an inconvenience to spend gas money and go to the gym and be tired. It's not fun.
Yeah.
But so don't go picking on them for doing their due diligence.
I mean, like, obviously, people have seen me on the video. I'm not, you know, I am not in ideal shape, but
Getting there.
I'm trying, and I understand the importance of physical fitness.
He's doing.
Yes. So, you know, what they are basically doing, this article, is they're body shaming fit people.
Yeah. So this is the thing. So
And
anorexia.
they're saying it's ideal to be a little bit pudgy.
So here's the thing: you have anorexia and you have bulimia.
Uh-huh.
Both of those are sicknesses. Those people need to be treated. Those people need to see someone. That's something that
Yeah.
like that. That's a problem. Something's going on with that person.
Yeah, definitely.
So don't go pointing fingers. Help those people.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? I understand certain things where they say, okay, well, maybe maybe the dolls for little boys and little girls, like maybe this isn't what maybe not everybody should be like immaculate or something like that. I kind of see where they're going with that.
Mhm.
My buddy posted up a picture and I was like, that's how I look with my shirt off. He posted up a picture of an action figure and I was like, that's what I look like. What's the problem? You know what I mean? And it's just like, don't get mad at that person because you didn't put the video game controller down instead of going to the gym.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? I mean, because you chose to keep it in your hand rather than going to the gym, I should say. So don't get mad at these people. Like, you don't feel this way because you're not that way. Get mad at yourself, not at everyone else. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And then you have people who have. It's sad because what they're doing is they're essentially, I don't know, pointing a finger at a group like you just stated, but they're doing that for people that have a legitimate illness. You know what I mean? Those people need help. They don't need somebody to place the blame over something that has nothing to do with one or the other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Those people need help. That's what makes it sad.
Yeah. You know, I mean, granted, I mean, they also used a picture of Lara Croft from one of the older games, which is before the reboot, which they made her look more realistic.
Mm-hmm.
You know, gave her more realistic proportions, but she's still fit because it makes sense for someone to be fit and be a rock climber. You know, I went wall climbing last summer.
Yeah, I remember that.
And there was one girl there who was climbing like a monkey.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she would go from the bottom to the top in like a few seconds. It was crazy.
That's racist.
And she was white.
That's really racist. Have you ever seen Congo? Those apes were white.
Anyways, so this girl was climbing like no one's business, and then, like, you know, when she got down, it's like she had like a ripped six-pack.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
It's like, because she's fit, you know, because she's able to do all this climbing. You know, it's I mean, Am I gonna like go to my local CrossFit center and tell the women there that have like ripped biceps and abs, you are unrealistic.
Yeah.
You're misrepresenting. You're
I,
misrepresenting yourself.
I know, right? There's this. So here's the thing: like these people are basically taking advantage. Somebody with an agenda came along. This would have had to have happened. That's the only thing that I could fathom what happened here is someone with an agenda came along and said, "I have to point the finger at somebody about this." When you have people that actually need to be talked to, these people need to be medicated indoor.
Mm-hmm.
Like they need to speak with somebody, Yeah. And so you can't. Without the double negatives because I said it twice, but yeah, you can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
That's not going to solve the problem. Saying, "Hey, this is video game." No, you do anything that they do and see how much body fat you have. That's my thing.
Mm-hmm.
So that was just off. Like I don't get it, man. It's sad, is what it is, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of these characters are either fighters or they do. I mean, like Sonya Blade. She's supposed to be like this. I don't know what rank, like lieutenant or something like that. Anyway, she's like a special ops, military. Like for her to have a pudgy body makes no sense.
Right. Exactly.
For her to be fit, that makes a lot more sense because like she's like this top tier soldier.
I know guys who are top tier soldiers. I know gentlemen that have done some interesting things. Every last single one of those guys are in shape.
Mm-hmm.
Every last single one of them are in immaculate condition. And I'm talking like these guys, some of these guys are like in their 40s and they're like, you can't stop them.
Mm-hmm.
Period. That's what that takes. So don't go pointing the finger at a video game.
Yeah.
Get these people help. Make awareness.
It's so contradictory to be like, hey, the video game developers pride themselves to be realistic, which no one claimed. First of all, who's making that claim?
Right.
And so, they're talking about how realistic it's supposed to be, and then they take these characters that are supposed to be fighters or people that do just amazing things and make them your average pudgy American. That makes no sense.
Yeah. And meanwhile, it's like, okay, you turn on the television, you see, hey, exercise. We need to exercise as a nation, and this is this. If you look at like that was like an issue, like politically, it was like a political issue with like health and obesity in the U.S.
Yeah,
and it was just like, and now you're saying, hey, throw 50 pounds on that ripped chick. That's not what you're supposed to look like. Why not? That's the thing. So I don't. It's pretty bad, man. That person just had an agenda. That's all it was.
Yeah, let's move on. I think we talked about this a little too long. Let's go on to the next article. The Wii U version of Project Cars got canceled. And this is kind of funny because of the fact that Project Cars was initially announced for the Wii U before everything else. They had I think it was a Kickstarter or some kind of crowdfunding campaign for this game. And they originally said, hey, it's going to be on Wii U. And then after that, they're like, hey, it'll also be on, PS4 and Xbox and One and PC. And now they're like, well, this game can't happen on the Wii U because it's not powerful enough. And I just find that a bit, I don't know, ironic, I guess, just because of the fact that they were trying to, they originally wanted to make this game for the Wii U, and also there are still people who are like these hardcore Wii U loyalists who claim that Wii U is as powerful as the PS4 and Xbox One, but obviously it isn't. It's so clear that it isn't. And even these developers who wanted to initially make this game for Wii U are like, hey, it's just not powerful enough. That's why we can't make this game on here.
So there's so many issues going on with that. First off, it's the Wii U. I don't know. They need to come. Nintendo needs to get back on it and come play with the big boys, and stop like, green mic. So my apologies. So yeah, Wii U needs to, like I said, come back and play with the big boys and do what they were made to do initially, or what they were initially doing instead of this. Like apparently that gimmick is failing.
Yeah.
Now, on the other end, as far as those loyalists go, so I love Microsoft. I'm not a Sony man. I'm not with Sony product. Period. But I still own the fact that the PS4 is more powerful than my Xbox One. It is. That's just what it is. You know what I mean? In terms of gaming capability, one is definitely better than the other. Period. I got mine more for the sole purpose of.
Seems like they're starting to level out though, as far as like games coming out for them being on par with each other.
Well,
but I mean, still for the most part, there's most of the games are maybe a little smoother on the PS4 and such.
Well, my thing is, so I have my issues with like Sony development and things like that, but Sony, so like that's more of the gaming machine, more so than the Xbox One. I have mine more for the entertainment purposes, and I'm just the Xbox guy. But I'm not gonna lie to myself and saying it's just as good. Like I loved Nintendo, loved it. That right there, I mean, like I said, it's like we were talking about earlier, fanboys who I can't go watch this X-Men movie because Wolverine is short and ugly.
Hey now. Hey now. You're bringing back conversations from like what 10 years ago? Over 10 years ago.
You still remember though. It's so it proves the point. I mean, I'm just using this straight to my point, man. You've come a long way since then. But yeah, I mean, it seems like the game was going to be pretty interesting too. That's the thing. I mean, it happens. That's what happens when you're underpowered. I mean, that's just what it is, man.
All right, let's move on. So Evo happened last weekend. Evo is a tournament that's held every year in Las Vegas for fighting games and other competitive games.
I won.
You won?
What?
You won?
Yeah, actually, I did. I won.
Oh, congratulations!
Thank you. First place.
So, quite a few things came from Evo. But I'm only going to talk about a couple, and that's not including Jamie Lee Curtis as Vega.
What?
Jamie Lee Curtis took her son to Evo, and she cosplayed as Vega, so no one will know that it's her.
Awesome.
Because Vega has a mask.
Awesome. That's cool. I like that. That's cool.
One of the more interesting things I thought that came from Evo was this video clip, which I'm not going to show, but basically, I mean, it was even covered on ESPN. This clip. So one of the tournaments with I think it was Guilty Gear Xrd or Xrd or however it's pronounced. So with Guilty Gear, one of the players, he thought that it was the final round, and when he won the round, he got up and put his hands up and started walking around. And the final round started, and he still was walking around with his hands up. So by the time he realized that the match wasn't over, the other guy already started his, his like unstoppable
barrage.
Barrage, his like unlimited combo, and the damage was already done. He lost. So after that, the guy who did win, he pretty much mocked the other guy by doing the same thing. He got up and put both his hands up and did the same thing.
It's essentially like that. What was that? The fight with Bones Jones and what was his name? Daniel
Cormier.
Cormier. Yeah, it was essentially the same thing. Like, I'm not saying Daniel Cormier would have won the fight. I'm just saying that it was just like, hey, yeah, it's a fight. Now the fight's over. You know what I mean?
Bones Jones put his hands up, and then like
Daniel Cormier, he just kind of stood there.
So Daniel Cormier let go because he thought it was over, and then he punched Daniel Cormier in the face.
Yeah, a couple times. Wasn't it a couple times? Yeah,
I think so. But I mean, like, you see this all the time. Like, there is a subreddit. I think it's called Premature Celebration. Like they have like all these video clips and all these gifs of, like, let's say people in a race, and then they put their hands up as they're, before they cross the line, as they're crossing the line, but then the person
Yeah.
next to them just like zooms past them.
That is hilarious.
Or when football players drop the ball right before they cross the the end zone.
I've done that. I've done that actually when I was a kid. Don't judge me.
So the lesson of this is don't celebrate until you see
Yeah.
the victory. Push all the way.
You haven't won until the
Push.
fat lady has sung.
Yeah. Like if you see the light at the end of the tunnel, push harder. Push harder.
Staffa, ladies and gentlemen. Staffa.
Yeah.
He's here all night.
So there you go. But let's move on to the next thing.
Are you gonna? Oh, we're not gonna watch the video.
No, I'm not gonna show the video because I don't want to get. Last time I showed a video on my podcast, it got flagged, so I'm not showing any videos.
You got flagged. Why?
Because some Korean companies wanted to claim that the video is theirs, even though it wasn't. Korea hates me. So, anyways, the other thing that I wanted to talk about from Evo that was announced is this game called what is this called? Hold on, Rising Thunder. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So this is being worked on by Seth Killian. For people who don't know who he is, he's a big name in the fighting game industry. Like he played in tournaments. He ended up working on Street Fighter 4 because he was so good in these tournaments. They hired him to help for like balance issues and stuff. And so what he's doing right now is he's working on a new fighting game called Rising Thunder, it's free to play, which sounds bad, but from what we know about the free to play model is that it is only cosmetics that you have to pay for. So you get all the characters. You don't have to like pay extra for like crazy characters and such. Okay. But the big deal about this game is that this is Seth Killian's attempt to make a fighting game that has a broad appeal. A lot of people can't get into fighting games, especially online, because of the fact that it is so hard to go against really good players. And I learned that myself. Like when I was in high school, I loved fighting games. I'd go against my friends, and I was better than them. And
I remember.
And then when I started playing online, I'd go against even better people, and it was just so hard to keep up. Like I do not play fighting games online because it's nuts. And especially since I'm getting older, it's harder for me to pull off the moves fast enough. Come on now. I'm not as young as I used to be. My thumbs can't keep up.
You're copping out on that one. That's a cop out. I was just with a guy who's like older than us, who's like one of the world's top video games and like competitors. Like no, whatever, dude.
Yes,
no.
My thumbs can't keep up. Anyways.
No.
Just
because you get whooped by a 12-year-old, don't blame the 12-year-old on the side. It's because you're young. No.
So what this game is all about is that you can easily perform moves with one button. And Seth Killian, like he says in this article, something along the lines of, hey, if you asked me about such a game 10 years ago, I'd say that it's a terrible idea and it can't be done, and the game is going to be bad, etc. I'm paraphrasing here.
Yeah.
But now he says, hey, I'm going to give this a shot and make this happen, in which, making a game that is not about being able to perform a quarter circle high punch or half circle backwards, 3 punches. It's not about doing all those things as quickly as possible, but more about, hey, you can do all these moves really easily. Try to do the best that you can do with it. And one thing that's mentioned in this article is something about like, imagine playing chess and you cannot use a knight because you don't know how to use it properly, or you cannot use pawns or you don't use pawns at all because you don't know how to use them properly.
Mhm.
Like he says, like that's basically what it's become for certain people with fighting games, that they can't utilize everything that they have because it's really hard for them to pull off all these moves.
Yeah, definitely.
So what he
Definitely.
wants to do is make a fighting game in which it's very easy to pull off all the moves, and it's more about can you outplay the other person like tactically, rather than can you outplay the other person because you can perform it more easily.
Mhm.
So I think that is a really awesome idea. I'm very interested in this game, and
Mhm.
I'd like to check it out whenever it comes out.
I agree. I agree. I mean, and especially like when you say, I'm not a big online gamer. Like, I'm not a big online gamer, and part of it is, I like to do stuff. When I play a video game, like I love video games, don't get me mad, but when I play a game, it makes me want to go out and do more than what I already want to do.
Mhm.
Because I'm already not a homebody. Like if I what was that, Assassin's Creed, and I'm like, okay, now I want a free run. I'm out.
Mhm.
And it's like, I'm sitting here looking at places where I can go do this stuff at, or a group of people,
Yeah.
and so my thing is, when if you have a life, essentially, you don't have enough time to sit back and trade. The guy I was literally with, what I was, my point was about that was, he's older than us, and with him, he was like one of the, like, he was big in WoW, for example.
Yeah.
And he was saying that his group was one of the biggest group or clans in the world, you know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
one of the leading competitors. And he was like, he was telling me, he's like, man, that stuff is time consuming. He's like, this, like, I've led like my own groups in X, Y, and Z, and he's just like, I'm not using the correct terminology here, I know, but or clan or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's just like, man, this is so time consuming. He's like, I will put 30 hours into this much time in this, and like he broke it down on what he would do. He's just like, it's like having another job,
Mhm.
and so that's why he backed out of it. And so it's just like, it's more about a time thing. And so I think that's a really good idea for people that, like I said, that don't want to go play COD and go get waxed by a 12-year-old. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or Street Fighter or anything like that, where you're getting like the pants beat off you. Like, I don't stand a chance against you to this day in that game.
Yeah. Like I cannot play Counter-Strike online because Counter-Strike is all about having good aim, and there are tons of people online that just clearly have better like reflexes and mouse movement than I do. Like I cannot aim well enough to aim at their head and shoot before I'm already dead.
Not even just that. I mean, it's like the experience part of it as well, bro. Like, some of that experience has to play a part in it. It has to.
No, I mean like just reaction time with
On top of that,
yeah.
yeah,
Like I mean I play online shooters, and I feel like I do well when I play games that have certain class types that don't require much aiming. Like let's say a medic in Team Fortress 2,
Mhm.
you don't really need to aim because you're just shooting the heal gun
Mhm.
at the general direction of a person, and whatever. Or like if as long as I don't have to like aim really quick and shoot the guy, or like there's also melee classes, like let's say you got like a sword or something.
Mhm.
Those, as long as I'm close enough and I'm swinging, then I'm doing damage. I don't have
Mhm.
to aim, and just the reaction time is I don't have that. I cannot compete against these other people who have better reaction
I
than me.
understand that. See, my whole issue is I don't have the time to put in the game. Like, my reaction time is fine and all the other jazz. I just don't have the time to put into that game to get better at it.
Mhm.
Like, so I've done it. I've gotten better at games like Call of Duty and things like that. I've done it, and I was just like, but I get bored with them so easily, like Madden and all. I've done all that,
Mhm.
and it's just like I'm not that interested. I have like my uncle, for example, dude's like 50.
Mhm.
He's still in there like, I'm whooping up on these kids. And it's just like, I don't have that. I can't keep my interest, but yeah. And then I have a life. It's like you said, man, I think you kind of. I really think that you're shooting yourself in the foot. I think you're pretty darn good when it comes to Street Fighter. I think when I think you wasn't Street Fighter your thing.
Yeah, I really like Street Fighter and like just about every fighting. I liked fighting games, but is when I played online, that's when I got stomped.
Those
And
I feel you.
another thing
I
on
feel
top
you.
of that, like I like variety. So when I play fighting games, like against my friends, I will pick practically every single character. If you look at the competitive, the tournament scene, like the top players in Evo, they will like stick to one character,
right.
maybe two, and like it was a huge deal that I can't remember which game, but one of the players he played 6 characters, and they made a huge deal about that. Oh my God, that's so many characters. You played 6? That's insane. So like because they try to master that one character. So and I like variety. I'm like, you know what? I'm tired of this character. I'm gonna play another one.
I remember you guys talking about that once. Like you were schooling on it. Like I'm not big on fighting games at all. Anybody that knows me knows that I'm not big on fighting games. Period. But like I remember you guys having that conversation like about you were schooling me on the fact that like what a lot of guys do, they'll stick with one character and master it, or they have to stick with that one character and master it. You know what I mean? To develop in that world. Like you guys told me that once. I remember that now.
But yeah, I mean, like on top of everything I mentioned about this game, Rising Thunder, about the accessibility, I think it looks really cool too. Like if you watch the videos, graphics look pretty cool. It looks very fast. The combos look really cool. The moves look really cool. So I mean, I'm pretty excited about this. But let's move on.
Yeah, I'm all in.
All right, let's go and talk about.
I love that show.
Oh, what's this? Rick and Morty.
Love that show.
Never seen it, but anyways. Tomb Raider. The Rise of the Tomb Raider, which is the sequel to the rebooted Tomb Raider that came out like 2 years ago. Have you played that game?
No, because I wasn't a big Tomb Raider fan.
This is a pretty awesome game.
Really?
I really liked it.
Okay.
It's like, to me, it was like a mix between Uncharted and Batman Arkham Asylum. Because like in Batman Arkham Asylum, how you had like that one, like pretty much one big map that you kind of went around, and it's like, okay, I'm back to this area, but now I have this new ability that lets me
go on to this next area. Yeah.
That's how Tomb Raider was. Like you're in this one big island, and sometimes you'd come back to an area. It's like, oh, now I have a rock climbing ability, or whatever.
Right.
So now I could climb this rock that I wasn't able to do earlier.
No doubt in my mind that it's a good game. None whatsoever. I take your word for it. You're normally spot on. My thing is, so 2 issues.
I remember as a woman.
I was going to say the first one. No, I'm heterosexual male. This first issue being, I didn't like the first one because of the platforming, and I sucked at platforming so bad, dude. You have no idea. When I was younger, I was the worst. Like that aspect of the game, I just could not do back then.
There is platforming in this game, but it's also a lot like Uncharted. There's shooting, and there's a lot of like these action sequences where like the bridge is blowing up and you're running down the bridge and stuff like that.
I mean, well, I like things like Prince of Persia and Assassin's Creed. I'm sure it's good. Like I'm not even questioning that. I'm just saying, like, I never got into it because I couldn't do the platforming part when I was younger. Like all the rest of you guys for whatever reason. Like I had an issue with Mario Brothers, for example, because like with me, it's like, okay, jump, boing. wait. Oh crap. You know what I mean? Like I panic. And so that was my issue, honestly. But then 2, yes, I like playing as a guy. Like I don't like the whole thing. Like playing as a chick.
Sexist.
Because I don't want to play as a woman. How's that sexist? I'm not saying it's not a good game.
That's not equal opportunity.
That's like me saying that I would want to be heading a sex change into a woman and say, hey, I had to do this because I want to have equal opportunity and to get it switched back over again. No.
Video games are not realistic.
Yeah, that doesn't mean I have to play as a woman. I'll own that. I'm weird.
So anyways, Rise of the Tomb Raider. It's coming to PC early 2016 and PS4 November 2016. We finally got that news announced because previously it was. Oh, you gotta give me a high five. Awesome.
Yeah, because it's
All right.
coming out, man.
All right. So previously it was announced only for Xbox One this holiday season. I think it's November this
Because
year,
it's
or
awesome.
something like that.
Xbox One is awesome.
No, it's because they had a deal with Microsoft.
Xbox One is awesome.
Sure. So, anyways, but now we have confirmation. We have confirmation that it is coming out on PC early next year. I'm not sure what early next year means, if it's January or February. That sounds right, but then it's gonna come out late next year for PS4. So, hey, for those of people who don't have an Xbox One and want to play that new Tomb Raider, it's coming, just like we all thought it would be.
Mm.
So let's
Cool.
move on.
Cool.
Let's talk about Nintendo again.
All right.
So it was either last week or the week before that. I talked about how Nintendo said they were not going to publish Devil's Third on the Wii U, and I was like, good. Don't, because it looks terrible. All right, Devil's Third. I know you don't know what this is it? Do you?
No.
So Devil's Third is Itagaki's new game. You remember Itagaki? Team Ninja.
Oh yeah, the guy with the sunglasses. dude.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
on the rocks.
him.
Yeah.
So he left Team Ninja a while back. He made the new studio, Valhalla Studio, something like that. And he's been working on Devil's Third for quite a while. It was originally announced by THQ, and then THQ went under, so he was looking for a new publisher. And then Nintendo's like, okay, we'll publish it if it's a Wii U exclusive.
THQ went
THQ,
under.
yeah, THQ went under.
Where have I been?
Where have you been? That was a few years ago.
Lord. That would explain why I was seeing these logos going around, but still.
So, anyways, Devil's Third is a terrible looking game. It looks like basically it's like a really bad Call of Duty knockoff, but you're playing this guy with a bunch of tattoos and he's shirtless, and you can swing your katana so that it's kind of like Ninja Gaiden, but not really. It just looks really bad. And apparently now they're saying, okay, we'll release it because of the fact that Valhalla Game Studios is working on improving the frame rate, because the frame rate is really bad. So now that they're fixing the frame rate, they're like, okay, we'll release it. But still, the game itself just looks really bad. It looks super generic. It doesn't look fun at all. There are moments where the game looks like it was for the PlayStation 1, like where the environment just looks terrible. I don't know, man.
Is it just because he was looking for a more powerful system, or what's going on?
I think it's because lazy development. It just looks really bad. I don't think it's because of the Wii U, because I mean there have been some good looking games on the Wii U,
Okay.
and this no.
Isn't the Wii U like $300?
I think so.
And how much is it now for the newer consoles at this point? Like $400?
I'm not sure. I haven't been paying attention to that.
I'm pretty sure it's just like $100 more. I was just wondering. The reason why I'm asking this is completely different topic. I was just wondering because of I want to see who's buying the Wii U versus Xbox One and PS4.
Okay, so on Amazon, we're looking at the Wii U. It is pretty much rounding up the Wii U Deluxe set that comes with Super Mario 3D World.
Awesome. I love Mario.
It is rounding up to $300.
Okay.
Now let's look at the PS4. PS4 is rounding up to $400.
Okay.
And that is the Batman Arkham Knight bundle.
Okay.
Comes with Arkham Knight.
All right.
We've got Xbox One. That is 300. Rounding down is $340. Comes with no game.
Okay.
So yeah, that answers your question.
Thank you.
All right, let's move on to the final news topic. We're talking about the best actor alive.
Amazing. Look, ladies and gentlemen, look, I think people just he has talent. Continue, please, sir.
Get closer to yeah.
He has talent.
So there has been some stuff going on with Hulk Hogan recently, and they haven't really come out and said what it is that Hulk Hogan said. Some people are saying that what he said was he was talking about his daughter, Brooke,
Hottie.
and she was dating a person of the black color.
Of the black color.
Yes.
What? No. Charcoal Man? Who?
Yes, because he's from Nigeria.
Is he really that dark?
I don't know. I have no idea.
I know Nigerians. I know some Nigerians, bro, and none of them are that black.
So, anyways, so she was dating a black person, and he said, allegedly, people are saying he said he doesn't like his daughter dating an N-word. Something like that.
I don't know what the N-word thing is. That must be a new term. But
you don't know what this N-word is?
If he's talking about the Negroids, us Negroids, that's what he's referring to.
Hey.
Negroids, that's actually the term, brother. You have Caucasian Negroids. Sorry.
Anyways.
But, yeah, if he's talking about that, then, man, I'm disappointed. He's a really good actor then, because he had me fooled.
So, I don't know. Like, they're basically, the only official statement is that he said some stuff, and he's claiming he said this a long time ago. So I don't know why. If this was a long time ago, why is it just surfacing now? I don't know. I don't have enough information. But either way, whatever it is, he said, it is. They're saying it's racist what he said, and that what they ended up doing is, first they were saying that he got fired, and then WWE was like, oh, he resigned himself, and he is no longer on the WWE website, and like there's no more traces of him. He is now Chris Benoit too. You don't know Chris Benoit?
It sounds familiar.
He's the wrestler that killed his family.
Oh, okay.
They like erased all trace of him.
I remember that.
So anyway, so whatever he did was as bad as what Chris Benoit did, and he is no longer on anything WWE, and he is no longer going to be in WWE 2K16.
So when they say, just for those who don't know, when they say that he resigned on his own accord, what that means is they said, hey, we're either going to kick you out or you can resign and we're going to give you some money. Yep. There's going to be benefits behind this.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm disappointed, man. It kind of sucks. I like the Hulk a lot.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's really like I didn't understand what he was going. Like I'm pretty sure she had a pop song out once. Yeah, so I don't know what he thought was going to happen. You know, if I ever met her, know what was going to happen. So, point is, you know, I really had dreams of being able to sit at the family dinner with my future ex-wife, his daughter, you know, and have a good family dinner with him. But apparently he just wasn't having it. So, whatever.
Yeah.
I guess he wouldn't like that.
He put out the statement saying that you saw the video I sent you, right? He put out a statement.
No, I didn't. No, I did not. Okay. I didn't see it. No.
So he put out this long statement saying that all people are equal, and you know, that no one deserves to be hated against for no reason. And like, it's like, come on now, you're
not a politician. So I legitimately think the guy may actually be a good guy. He may have his thoughts. Don't get me wrong. Now, I remember he said something once where his son got in a car accident. I don't even remember what all happened at the end of that, how it all ended. but his son and his son's friend were in a car accident. And remember, the friend was like comatose or something crazy. Like he was
like he's never gonna walk again or something like that.
Yeah, I thought he was like a vegetable or something crazy like that.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, so he said something. I seen this with my own 2 eyes. He was on Larry King Live. The guy was like, "It's good for them to go through this." Larry King was like, he has like this, he has like this 7 foot tall, 300-pound man in front of him. So he's not gonna like hound him about it, but he's just so. You say that this is good for them. He's like, yeah, it's good for them, for both of them. If you don't believe me, look that stuff up. He said it. He said that.
My brain.
Yeah, I don't know why or what was going on, but I'll never forget that clip. And it was just like, man. So I bought it. He said that. I mean, it's sad. It sucks because I really like the guy too. I thought he was an excellent performer and actor.
3 Ninjas.
He was in that?
Yeah, he was like the bad guy in one of them.
In the three surf ninjas?
No. Was it 3 Ninjas?
3 surf ninjas? That wasn't
Ninjas.
The comedian.
3 Ninjas High Noon at Mega Mountain.
I never watched that one.
And
I didn't watch that crap.
He was wearing a wig.
Yeah, I didn't watch that crap. I didn't watch that. I watched the first one. That was the good one.
I didn't watch any of them. I don't know.
The first one was really good, man. Check it out. It was a good kids movie.
All right. Well, that's it as far as news. We're back on the camera. Woo! Hello.
Hello.
So, anyways, let's wrap things up.
Always wrap things up.
If you want to write into the podcast, you can do so by writing to podcast@avcontinues.com. We will read your questions, comments, feedback. We'll answer all that on the show. Not next week, though, because next week, already recorded. The show is already uploaded. It's scheduled to post up next Monday. So, but after that, write in. We'll read your questions and be like, you know what? That was a good question. I that stirred my mind a bit. Got me thinking about life.
Yeah.
So, anyways, shout outs real quick, plug. Check out the stream. Haven't been streaming much lately, gameplay wise, because busy, we'll be moving. But check it out. Twitch.tv/Sayed Stuff. That's SAYESTAFA. Check out who did the intro music to the MP3 version of this podcast. So if you're listening to the MP3 version, you heard some music in the beginning, you're going to hear some more music at the end, and those are both by him. Nathan Becker, also known as Ectogemia. That's ECTOGEMIA. Search him by looking at facebook.com/Ectogemia, soundcloud.com/Ectogemia, or you can just click the link in the show notes. Click on his name, it'll go straight to him. It's in the show notes. And do you have anything you want to plug?
Yeah, actually, to the creators and maker of Bully, I'm still waiting on part 2. It was a very inspirational game. I actually had something to do with it, believe it or not. I wasn't specifically pointed out in the credits, but unfortunately, that was a very unfortunate mishap. But honestly, seriously, not even trying to plug myself. I mean, I don't want to work in the game industry or anything like that by any means. No desire to. I just want everybody to know Bear Bully was awesome. And hopefully one day they might be able to see one of the epic installments of the game here on Kickstarter sometime soon, such as Shenmue 3. And everybody play the game. The creator of the game is pure genius. Pure genius. Okay.
Wow.
And yeah, that's it.
Awesome. So anyways, if you enjoy what you've been hearing, you can support us by liking us on Facebook. You can follow us on Twitter. You can leave iTunes review. You can subscribe to the YouTube channel at youtube.com/avcontinues. You can email me, that's podcast@avcontinues.com, and all those things I mentioned, you can find them on the side of the screen at outofcontinues.com. That's if you're looking at it on a web browser, they're all on the right side of the screen. But if you're looking at it on your tablet or your mobile device, scroll down to the bottom, you'll find all those links. You can also give me a tweet. I am at Sayed Stafa. That's at SAYEDSTAFA. And Demetrius, you don't use Twitter, do you?
No, sir.
All right. I would like to thank my guest host for joining me today.
Thank
Big
you
D.
for having me. Thank you for having me.
And with that said, I'm your host, Stafa. Thanks for joining me, and we'll see you again in a couple of weeks.